Don't touch me. That's not for the camera. The words sliced through the silence of the live broadcast. Victoria Langston, host of Young Finance Futures, turned away from the small black girl standing politely beside her with her hand outstretched. A camera zoomed in. Kayla Brooks, 11 years old, stood frozen, her palms still open. The audience chuckled nervously. She probably thought this was a spelling bee, Victoria whispered into her lapel mic, forgetting it was still hot. Laughter erupted. But not from Kayla. She simply blinked once, then lowered her hand slowly, like returning a sword to its sheath. From the control booth, no one cut the feed. And from that moment on, the broadcast was no longer theirs to control. Kayla had been invited to the live taping as one of the youth finalists for a mock investment challenge. Most kids were dressed in pastel suits and polished shoes. Kayla wore a simple navy blue jumper, her hair in 2 tight braids, and carried a worn leather notebook tucked under her arm. She didn't even bring a tablet. Victoria snorted off camera. As the taping resumed, Kayla took her seat at the far edge of the round table. 3 contestants. 2 white boys, prepped at elite academies. 1 black girl from a public school in Detroit. The first round began. Name one factor that influences bond yield in a rising rate environment, the judge asked. The first boy stumbled. The second tried. Then Kayla, voice calm. Credit risk premium. When investors fear default, yields rise faster than the base rate. The room paused. One of the guest investors raised an eyebrow. Victoria forced a smile. Lucky guess, huh? Let's keep going. Question 2. Question 3. Question 5. Kayla didn't miss a beat. Her answers weren't just right, they were advanced. Analysts in the green room began texting each other. Producers leaned forward. And Victoria? She started sweating. The girl she mocked had turned the spotlight, and it was burning hot. But the real twist hadn't even landed yet. During the final round, contestants had 60 seconds to solve a real-world crisis, a failing infrastructure bond across 3 states. Each was handed a sealed folder. Kayla opened hers. Then stopped. Her mic went dead. Victoria grinned. Oh no, looks like we've got a tech issue. Guess she'll have to skip this one. A beat of silence. Then, from the judges' table, an older man in a gray suit stood up. No, she won't. I wrote that scenario. And I want to hear her solution. Cameras turned. The man stepped into the frame. The room gasped. It was Warren Halpern, executive chair of Halpern Capital Partners. The show's biggest anonymous sponsor. He pointed directly at Kayla. Let her speak. Another mic was handed to her. She glanced once at Victoria, then spoke. For multi-state recovery, I'd propose a public-private hybrid backed by green bonds, with a yield floor and community-first dividends to prevent buyout exploitation. Dead silence. Then one of the producers whispered. She just saved a $3 billion deal, in under 60 seconds. Kayla closed the folder, set it aside, and folded her hands. The host couldn't speak. The room couldn't move. And the nation was watching. Victoria tried to salvage the broadcast. Well, that was impressive, she said tightly. But this is a youth program, not a policy summit. The applause didn't stop. Kayla stayed quiet, expression steady. Her fingers tapped once, twice, on the spine of her notebook. That was all. Warren Halpern stepped forward again. I need everyone to hear this, he said calmly. Last month, our board debated whether to renew sponsorship for this show. We were undecided. But after today, our decision is final. Victoria paled. He turned to the camera. Effective immediately, we're pulling all funding from this program. Our brand does not stand for humiliation of brilliance. The room spun into chaos. Phones buzzed. Floor managers whispered. The control booth fell silent. Victoria stood stiff, lips parted. I didn't know who she was. Warren cut her off. That's exactly the problem. Kayla gathered her notebook, nodded politely to the panel, and stepped down from the stage. No dramatics. No tears. No revenge. Just presence. And behind her, a dozen youth contestants stood up in quiet solidarity, some still holding their question cards. In that moment, it wasn't just the show that ended. It was the illusion of who belongs where. 2 weeks later, a new show aired in the same studio. Same stage. Different name. Future Voices, powered by Halpern Capital. Kayla didn't return. She didn't need to. But in the studio's front lobby, a bronze plaque had been mounted on the wall. It showed a pair of outstretched hands, one reaching, the other refusing. Below it, the words. Know who you're turning away. No names. No spotlight. But everyone knew. Sometimes, it's not the volume of your voice but the weight of your presence that shifts the room. Kayla never raised hers, yet every eye turned. Respect isn't earned through age or status, but through truth calmly spoken. If this story made you think, feel, or pause even for a second, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more stories that speak even when words fall short.